Now this is the moment I've been waiting for so many years already, because behind me is Ferrari World, the park with the fastest roller coaster in the world at this moment. I hope from the bottom of my heart that the coaster is open today, because that seems to be an issue sometimes, but let's find out. That's right, I went to the UAE and was able to finally tick off some parks from my theme park bucket list in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. And in 7 episodes, I'm taking you guys with me while exploring these new territories. Today we're looking for some thrill at Ferrari World Abu Dhabi. Alright, so let's start our day here at the entrance area of Ferrari World. Now, as said earlier, it's home to the fastest roller coaster in the world. But of course, Ferrari World is not just a one roller coaster. Now, with at least 5 roller coasters, this park actually has a pretty amazing lineup when it comes to thrilling rides here in the UAE. But this park is not only speed and thrill. No, this huge indoor building here at Yas Island, which we are entering right now. It's actually right next to the Formula 1 racetrack, and it houses a bunch of different rides for young and old, actually. All themed to, of course, the famous Ferrari Italian sports car brand. So expect a lot of car-related stuff here. Now, the park opened in 2010, and since 2017, a European counterpart also opened up near Barcelona in Spain, actually. But please, we're not going to talk about that trashy tiny park. That's just one ride and nothing more interesting. It's just, it's a bit worthless actually. Now, from what I know already, I believe this park will be a lot more interesting, but let's see. Now, entrance to Ferrari World is actually very easy. You can enter the park via the Yas Mall right next to the park, where you can also leave your car at the parking lot there of that whole mall complex. And after buying a ticket here for around 345 dirham, which is approximately 86 euros or 94 US dollars, you can spend a full day here in this big indoor park. And an even better deal is the 4 park tickets we got ourselves, which is a 675 dirham or approximately 169 euros or 184 US dollars, as that one gives you a one-time access to all major parks here at Yas Island, actually, including Ferrari World, Yas Water World, Sea World, and Warner Bros. World. Okay, so we just entered the park here and we're going straight for the biggest reason to come here, which is Formula Rossa, the fastest roller coaster in the world. Now, it will not be like that for a long time anymore, as soon Falcon's Flight will open in 2024 or 2025, not sure exactly. Now, that ride at Six Flags Qiddiya in Saudi Arabia will actually become the highest, fastest and longest roller coaster in the world, and it will blow Formula Rossa out of the water. But for now, this one here is the fastest one. I already did the highest one at this moment back in 2016, which is King Dakar at Six Flags Great Adventure, but today it's all about speed actually. So Formula Rossa opened in 2010, reaches a speed of 240 kilometers per hour by launching you to that maximum speed in just 4.9 seconds. There are some cars here at the left. But yeah, I was telling it reaches a maximum speed of 240 kilometers in 4.9 seconds, which is absolutely insane actually. So I just cannot wait to ride this one. And let's see you after the ride. Alright, so I just went on Formula Rossa, the fastest roller coaster in the world. It's incredible. The launch is so powerful. The launch definitely lives up to the hype. The rest of the coaster, I was not expecting too much from it, because people told me, yeah, after the launch it slows down very quickly and there's not much to it. But actually the speed after the launch is still quite fast actually. It indeed slows down after the launch, but still it's quite fast, and especially the first helix you're taking after the launch is very intense actually, because I almost grayed out after that first turn. It was way intenser than I expected. That was actually the most intense moment, intenser than the launch actually. The launch is, yeah, it's still very powerful. It's just very powerful, but the most intense moment was that turn actually, in my opinion. The whole coaster, it's so much better than, for example, Red Force at Ferrari Land in Barcelona. This is incredible. This is really incredible. So after Formula Rossa, I'm not sure if there will be any better rides than that one, but let's try out this one here, Fiorano GT Challenge. Now this is kind of a special one, as it's a coaster that looks more like, launches the ride. It's a dueling Maurer family coaster from 2010 that reaches a speed of 95 kilometers per hour. It has a length of 1 kilometer, which is pretty long, and it has, wait for it, 4 launches along the ride actually. And a lot of turns also, but not really bank turns. It's more like kind of weird looking turns. But let me tell you more about it after we rode it. So I just went on Fiorano GT Challenge behind me here. It's a fun coaster. It's a pretty weird one actually. First I was kind of surprised why they had the Maurer restraints like on the spinning coasters, but after being on the ride I actually get why they have those restraints, because of the turns which are not banked, where you almost, you're pushed to the sides always. It's a very fun coaster actually. It's just very weird with all the non-banked turns and all the several launches and several breaks during the ride. Only the left side was open today because there is not a lot of people here, so that's a bit of a shame. But anyway, it doesn't really matter because the right side is almost practically the same as the left side. But anyway, it's a fun coaster. I'm hoping to do it again today, but it's, let's see. Alright, on to the next coaster here, which is on our right, which is Flying Aces. It's a pretty rare Intamin wing coaster and the only other one of this type from Intamin next to Skyrush at Hershey Park. Now, what is a wing coaster? Well, it's basically a ride with four seat rows, but the far left and the far right are actually floorless. So yeah, it's really it's a wing coaster. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to try this one out, as apparently it's a really good one. But we'll have to see, and we have to save that opinion till after the ride. So I just came off Flying Aces. It was quite an experience actually, because something happened which should not happen actually. We just left the station, we were on the lift hill, and suddenly we had a loud bang and a loud it suddenly stopped because normally it's the fastest chain lift in the world, but this time it didn't move at all suddenly. We stood there on the lift hill for like maybe 10 minutes or something. Then some personnel came up to tell us that the ride had been delayed for a few moments, and that we would be launching soon again. So that we had to stay in our seats. Of course, you're strapped in, you cannot really go anywhere. But anyway, I was glad after 10 minutes the ride began to move again, because I really wanted to experience this one. I was already panicking, like, oh my god, I'm not going to be able to ride this one too, because Mission Ferrari is also closed today. I was really I was really stressing out, but then suddenly the ride started to move again, and we got to experience Flying Aces. I was glad I got to do it, because it's clearly the best coaster in this park. It's a very fun, intimate wing coaster. It has some nice forces. It has a cool inversion at the end. It has a lot of airtime. It's just a very, very cool coaster. I just experienced the ride, but without a fast chain lift, which is otherwise the normal situation. Now, after getting off the ride, we got a free bottle of water. It wasn't really that necessary, because it wasn't that extremely hot outside. It was okay. We also got, as you can see, a ride recovery pass, which is like a fast pass for 2 persons to experience any other ride again. Hopefully this one again, but as you can see behind me, it's closed right now. Of course, I guess they are testing the ride again. But anyway, Flying Aces, I'm glad I did it right before it closed down today. It's a very, very good coaster, and hopefully I will be able to experience it once again today. Now, this park is mainly attracting theme park enthusiasts because of the various coasters they have here. So let's try out this next coaster here, Turbo Track, which is an intimate launch coaster from 2017, which opened up 7 years after the park itself opened. Now, this coaster is kind of unique, as it's a custom design, especially for Ferrari World. It features a launch, as you can see, and a twisted spike which goes straight up out of the building here. And the funny thing is, on the location of that spike actually used to be a drop tower, a shot and drop tower called G-Force, which was only in the park for like 6 years or something. Not sure why they removed it, but yeah, launch coasters are a lot more fun, I guess. Now this one seems to be like a short ride, so not that special, but it has a very unique train actually, featuring both forward and backward facing seats, giving you a kind of different experience. So let's check it out. So I just went on Turbo Track here behind me. It's a fun coaster. It's like I said before, it's a short one. It's nothing too spectacular. There's also almost no airtime or anything. It's just a fun launch. It's not like Formula Rossa, for example, of course, but it's fun. Just fun. And now I wanted to move on to the next and last coaster of the day, but yeah, this one here. It's Mission Ferrari, but apparently today this one is closed, which is something I'm very sad about because it's a very unique coaster and I really wanted to do it, but anyway, I'm sure I will be back one day. Now let me explain you maybe what this ride is. Mission Ferrari is, yeah, it's a dynamic attractions SFX coaster which opened up in 2022, and it's very comparable to Harry Potter's Escape from Gringotts at Universal Studios in Orlando, for example. But that one is built by Intamin, I believe, and a lot tamer than this version, I think, as the one in Orlando does not feature inversions, for example. But this ride has a lot more up its sleeves because, yes, was too curious and I already know what special effects are in here because I looked at some videos before. Now it's probably also going to stay very unique as the manufacturer of this ride, the Dynamic Attractions, went bankrupt because of this coaster type. They spent too much on the development of these, and at some point, yeah, they overspent and went bankrupt, I guess. So this caused this one in development to be delayed for years until it opened. Not sure who finished the job here because Dynamic Attractions was bankrupt, but it's open, but just not today, unfortunately. So yeah, let's try out other rides. So in the meantime, I also did Formula Rossa Junior, this kiddie coaster behind me. It was actually not the plan to do this one because I heard from other people that sometimes they apparently don't allow adults on the ride, only adults with children. Today it's not that busy, so probably that's why they allow adults, single adults today, I guess. It's a fun kiddie coaster. It's very comparable to, for example, some junior coasters from Vekoma, like for example the one at Plopsaland, the Pan in Belgium. It's a fun one. It's nothing special, but it's just a fun kiddie coaster. Okay, so we've done all the coasters in this park now. Time for something less intense. First one here is Benno's Great Race, an interactive dark ride which actually a Belgian company made possible. altar face, the same ones as, for example, Popcorn Revenge at Walibi Belgium, or Mouse au Chocolat at Fantasialand. So as a Belgian myself, I'm proud of that, of course. But yeah, absolutely no idea what to expect here, but let's see. Okay, so Benno's Great Race is an interactive shooting dark ride where you have to do all different kinds of tasks. It's a bit too complicated. It looks nice, the theming is nice, the story is kind of nice. It's fun that you have different kind of games, but just the whole system how to shoot is just too complicated. Some people just didn't get it, some people get it, but it's just very hard to handle. It's not easy, but it's a fun story. Next up here is Viaggio in Italia. I believe this is a flying theater from Dynamic Attractions also. So the same company as the ones who created the SFX coaster earlier, Mission Ferrari, which is closed. I'm not sure if I already did a flying theater from Dynamic Attractions itself, except for Soarin' at the Disney parks, which I believe is from Dynamic Attractions, but not sure. But let's check this one out. So Viaggio in Italia, or over Italia, flying over Italy. The worst flying theater I ever did so far. The movie is so boring, really. And the whole ride system from Dynamic Attractions here is way worse than the one that from, I think it's Brogant, I think, the one in Europa Park, Volitalium. It's such a superior ride system. Also Soarin' is very superior compared to this one. This one is really bad. There's almost no movement in these seats. The movie is just very static, very boring. This was really the worst experience in this whole park here so far. I hope I never have to experience such a boring flying theater again, actually. Now, after all the Italian vibe here in this park, let's get ourselves some Italian food, of course, at Mama Rosella's authentic Italian kitchen or cuisine. Lots of stuff. Let's eat. Doesn't look like anything anymore, but I already mixed it. But it's a very nice pasta, very nice lasagna. Yes, is it nice lasagna? All right. Bon appetit, or how do you say it in Italian? Bon appetit. I don't know. And if you want a lot of garlic bread, just order garlic bread here because it's a lot. So after that food, let's get ourselves some more fun again, as we're not finished yet. No, we're not finished. This park not only has a lot of coasters, it also has a lot of dark rides. Speed of Magic here is the next. Now this dark ride, I believe, uses a similar system like Spider-Man or Transformers, I believe, but again, I'm not sure. I just saw some pictures of the ride vehicle, so no videos or anything, so it's actually still a mystery for me too, but let's check it out. Speed of Magic, it was indeed a dark ride like I thought it would be, just as the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man or Transformers in Universal Orlando. The ride itself was fun, but it's more like a cheap version of the Amazing Adventure of Spider-Man or Transformers rides. The sets are not really that great, the movie is not really... just the mix between the movies and the practical sets were not that great in my opinion. But the person I'm with here thought it was a very good ride compared to the other dark rides. It was not bad, it was definitely not bad, but I've seen better of these ride types actually. Okay, now to have a little bit of variety here today, let's not make our next ride another dark ride. No, let's do Driving with the Champion, a simulator ride. Now I hope it will be better than the simulator ride they have at Ferrari Land at Portaventura in Spain, as that one was kind of boring, but let's see. Okay, Driving with the Champion, not the best simulator ride ever. It's very comparable, the ride system, to the Despicable Me rides in Hollywood and Orlando, but it's not the same, but it's very similar, where you're seated on four seats rows. That kind of difficult to explain, just watch the video. It's a very weird experience because the ride system is very fun, but the movie just doesn't fit the whole ride system. Also the movements of the ride system are not the same as what is visible in the movie. Just very, very strange. Also the sound in the theater was really bad actually, because it seemed like only one box was working behind the screen, which made it was just so bad. It was so bad. Now the park also used to have a lock flume when it opened back in 2010, which was called V12 Enter the Engine. It was a ride that made you feel like you were traveling on the inside of a Ferrari engine. Now that ride unfortunately got removed already, so yeah, only other option here is to try some more dark rides, I guess. Yes, I know it's getting out of hand here with all the dark rides. But let's do made in Maranello, a dark ride all about how Ferraris are made. In Maranello, the dark ride here behind me, it's more something you would expect in a museum or something, but I guess Ferrari doesn't have a museum or anything. It's more like it's not a theme park ride, it's more like an educational dark ride where you're being shown how Ferraris are made, but it's not really anything like a story or very thrilling stuff. It's just educational, and it's nice to see, of course, but it's nothing too spectacular. Also, the theming is nothing too spectacular. It's just, yeah, like I said, something you would expect in a museum or anything, but not really in a theme park. But anyway, we did it. It's nice to try it once, but I'm not going to do it again. So that was our day here in Ferrari World. It's a really cool park, a lot better than Ferrari Land at Portaventura near Barcelona in Spain. There are some really cool coasters like Formula Rossa, especially front seat. If you come here and you do Formula Rossa, do it front seat. It's so much better than the other rows. Flying Aces is also a really good coaster, actually the best in the park in my opinion, and so far the best of the UAE actually. But Fiorano GT, also a pretty fun motor dueling launch coaster, although it was not dueling today. It was very sad that Mission Ferrari was closed today, but yeah, I'll have to come back. I'll surely come back because of the coasters. There are a lot of cool coasters here. Now the dark rides and simulators here, they are not worth re-rides, and probably when I come back I will not ride those again. If I come back, it will be for the coasters and not for the rest. But anyway, great park. I enjoyed myself here the whole day. And now off to the next park tomorrow. Okay, I just noticed that here next to Ferrari World is also Fun Works, sorry, with a very unique coaster here behind me. Why not try it out if you're here? See you soon. Bye.